The conspiracy theories relating to the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy, a United States Senator and brother of assassinated President John F. Kennedy, relate to non-standard accounts of the assassination that took place shortly after midnight on June 5, 1968, in Los Angeles, California. Robert F. Kennedy was assassinated during celebrations of his successful campaign in the Californian primary elections while seeking the Democratic nomination for U.S. President. The alleged perpetrator was a 24-year-old Palestinian immigrant named Sirhan Sirhan, who remains incarcerated for the crime as of January 2018. However, as with his brother's death, Robert Kennedy's assassination and the circumstances surrounding it have spawned various conspiracy theories, particularly regarding the existence of a supposed second gunman. Such theories have also centered on the alleged presence of a woman wearing a polka dot dress claiming responsibility for the crime and the purported involvement of the Central Intelligence Agency. Many of these theories were examined during an investigation ordered by the United States Senate, and were judged to be erroneous by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which investigated on the Senate's behalf. Second gunman theory. The location of Kennedy's wounds suggested that his assailant had stood behind him, but witnesses said that Sirhan stood facing west, about a yard away from Kennedy, as he moved through the pantry facing east. This has led to the suggestion that a second gunman actually fired the fatal shot, a possibility supported by Chief Medical Examiner Coroner for the County of Los Angeles Thomas Noguchi, who stated that the fatal shot was behind Kennedy's right ear and had been fired at a distance of approximately 1 inch. Other witnesses, though, said that as Sirhan approached, Kennedy was turning to his left, shaking hands, facing north, and so exposing his right side. As recently as 2008, eyewitness John Pilger asserted his belief that there must have been a second gunman. On August 14, 1975, the Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, LACBOS, appointed Thomas F. Krantz as special counsel to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office to investigate the assassination. The conclusion of the experts was that there was little or no evidence to support this theory. Sirhan's .22 caliber Iver Johnson cadet revolver only contained 9 rounds, which were all fired. Since RFK's assassination took place in a tight, confined pantry, all bullets ended up embedded in either the walls and ceiling, or a person. 3 bullets hit Kennedy. 2 stayed in his body and another tore through his arm. The 5 bullets which hit the other 5 victims stayed in their bodies. So we have a total of 2 bullets which were not in bodies. So logically, there should only have been 2 bullet holes in the room. But the LAPD found that there were 3 bullet holes in the foam ceiling. The LAPD concluded that a bullet must have ricocheted through the ceiling before making a U-turn and hitting a person. This explanation may have been feasible, except for a major flaw. There were 2 bullet holes in the door frame to the pantry. The LAPD does not acknowledge this. But photos were taken of the bullet holes by the press. They show cops pointing at the holes and measuring them. Martin Petruski, a waiter at the Ambassador Hotel, remembered having a conversation with officers who told him they had removed 2 bullets from the door frame. But the LAPD removed the door frame and the ceiling tiles, which they incinerated. In 2007, analysis of an audio recording of the shooting made that night by freelance reporter Stanislaw Prusinski appeared to indicate, according to forensic expert Philip Van Praag, that at least 13 shots were fired even though Sirhan's gun held only 8 rounds. Van Praag alleged that the recording also revealed at least 2 cases where the timing between shots was shorter than humanly possible. Van Praag also alleged that an analysis of the Prusinski tape reveals the firing of more than 8 shots was independently corroborated by forensic audio specialists Wes Dooley and Paul Pegas of Audio Engineering Associates in Pasadena, California, forensic audio and ballistics expert Eddie B. Brygson in Copenhagen, Denmark, and audio specialist Phil Spencer Whitehead of the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, Georgia. Some other acoustic experts, through their own independent analysis, have stated that they believe no more than 8 shots are recorded on the audio tape. On November 26, 2011, Sirhan's defense attorneys William F. Pepper and Lori Dusek filed a 62-page brief in Los Angeles federal court which asserts that a bullet used as evidence to convict Sirhan was switched with another bullet at the crime scene. The brief claims that this was done because the bullet taken from Kennedy's neck did not match Sirhan's gun. Pepper and Dusek claim that the new evidence presented in their brief is sufficient to find Sirhan not guilty under the law. The security guard as second gunman theory. Thane Eugene Caesar has been consistently cited as the most likely candidate for a second gunman in the RFK assassination. Caesar had been employed by Ace Guard Service to protect Robert Kennedy at the Ambassador Hotel. This was not his full-time job. During the day he worked as a maintenance plumber at the Lockheed Aircraft plant in Burbank, a job that required a security clearance from the Department of Defense. He worked there from 1966 until losing his job in 1971. Dan Moldia wrote that Caesar began working at Hughes in 1973, a job he held for 7 years and a position Caesar said required the second highest clearance level at the plant. When interviewed, Caesar stated that he did draw a gun at the scene of the shooting but insisted the weapon was a Rome .38, not a .22, the caliber of the bullets found in Kennedy. He also claimed that he got knocked down after the first shot and did not get the opportunity to fire his gun. The LAPD, which interviewed Caesar shortly after the shooting, did not regard Caesar as a suspect and did not ask to see his gun. Caesar stated that he did own a .22 caliber Harrington and Richardson pistol, and he showed it to LAPD Sergeant P. E. Osteen on June 24, 1968. When the LAPD interviewed Caesar 3 years later, however, he claimed that he had sold the gun before the assassination to a man named Jim Yoder. William W. Turner tracked down Yoder in October 1972. Yoder still had the receipt for the H&R pistol, which was dated September 6, 1968, and bore Caesar's signature. Caesar therefore had sold the pistol to Yoder 3 months after Kennedy's assassination, contradicting his claim of 1971 that he had sold the weapon months before the murder. Author Dan Moldia wrote that Caesar submitted years later to a polygraph examination performed by Edward Gelb, former president and executive director of the American Polygraph Association. Moldia reported that Caesar denied any involvement in Kennedy's assassination and passed the test with flying colors. Manchurian Candidate Hypothesis. Another conspiracy theory relates to a Manchurian Candidate hypothesis, that Sirhan was psychologically programmed by persons unknown to commit the murder, that he was not aware of his actions at the time, and that his mind was wiped in the aftermath by the conspirators so he would have no memory of the event nor of the persons who programmed him. This theory was supported by psychologist and hypnosis expert Dr. Edward Simpson Collis after 35 hours of work with Sirhan in San Quentin prison in 1969 after his conviction. Sirhan claimed then, and has continued to claim since, to have no memory of the assassination or its aftermath. The woman in the polka dot dress. Some witnesses stated that they observed a woman in a polka dot dress in various locations throughout the Ambassador Hotel before and after the assassination. One witness, Kennedy campaign worker Sandra Serrano, reported that around 11:30 p.m. she was sitting outside on a stairway that led to the embassy ballroom when a woman and 2 men, one whom she later stated was Sirhan, walked past her up the stairs. Serrano said that around 30 minutes later she heard noises that sounded like the backfire of an automobile, then saw the woman and one of the men running from the scene. She stated that the woman exclaimed, "We shot him, we shot him." According to Serrano, When she asked the woman to whom she referred, the woman said Senator Kennedy. Another witness, Evan Freed, also saw the girl in the polka dot dress. This report was connected by alternative theorists, such as with another report of a girl wearing a polka dot dress who was supposedly seen with Sirhan at various times during the evening, including in the kitchen where the assassination took place. Serrano stated that preceding her supposed encounter with the polka dot dress girl, she heard a series of shots that sounded like a car backfiring. However, following this claim, LAPD criminologist Dwayne Wolfer conducted tests to determine if Serrano could have heard the shots from her location. He found that there would have been a change in sound level of 1/2 decibel at Serrano's location resulting from a shot being fired in the kitchen of the hotel, and concluded that she could therefore not have heard the shots as she claimed. Additionally, Krantz commented in his report that Serrano admitted to fabricating the story following further interviews with investigating officers and that he was unable to find evidence to corroborate any aspect of the original account. In 1974, retired LAPD officer Paul Sherriga told a newsman with KPMC in Los Angeles that as he was responding to the shooting in the hotel, an elderly couple reported to him that they saw a couple in their early 20s, one of which being a woman in a polka dot dress, who were smiling and shouting, "We shot him, we killed Kennedy, we shot him, we killed him." Sherriga also stated that he filed official reports of the incident, but that they disappeared and were never investigated. CIA involvement. In November 2006, BBC Television's Newsnight aired a 12-minute screening of Shane O'Sullivan's documentary RFK Must Die. O'Sullivan stated that while researching a screenplay based on the Manchurian Candidate theory for the assassination of Robert Kennedy, he uncovered new video and photographic evidence suggesting that 3 senior CIA operatives were behind the killing. He claimed that 3 men seen in video and photographs of the Ambassador Hotel immediately before and after the assassination were positively identified as CIA operatives David Sanchez Morales, Gordon Campbell, and George Joan Knights. Several people who had known Morales, including family members, were adamant that he was not the man who O'Sullivan said was Morales. After O'Sullivan published his book, Assassination, researchers Jefferson Morley and David Talbot also discovered that Campbell had died of a heart attack in 1962, 6 years prior to the assassination of Kennedy. In response, O'Sullivan stated that the man on the video may have used Campbell's name as an alias. He then took his identifications to the Los Angeles Police Department, whose files showed the men he identified as Campbell and Joan Knights to be Michael Roman and Frank Owens, 2 Bulova sales managers attending the company's convention in the Ambassador. O'Sullivan stood by his allegations, stating that the Bulova watch company was a well-known CIA cover.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.